Three, two, one, Larry.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Big Idea podcast. We're very happy to have Drew Pearlman with us. I've known Drew for, probably 15, 20 years. He's run dealerships. He's doing a ton of consulting. He's even doing some stuff with Career Changers. So without further ado, Drew, tell these folks about your journey through the car business, what you're currently doing, and why you decided to jump in doing a little business with a mentally challenged person like myself.
Absolutely. There is nothing better than dealing with the mentally challenged like yourself. I thank you so much for having me on today here. So I'm a 20-year veteran of management in the industry. I've built out some very successful dealerships. I've been in the industry for over 30 plus years. And what I absolutely love about the industry and what's really is passionate is I love the franchise model. I love dealerships. But what happened over the years right now is dealerships have gotten just such a tough name, just based on, environment and things that we've done, unfortunately, as dealers to give us this bad stigma. And then, for me, what I want to do is help raise dealers up and get them more customers in their door and fix processes and leadership. So here's kind of what to think of me. Think of me as like a rental leader for your dealership. Because here's the reality. Every dealership has problems. They have pain points. They have broken processes or broken pieces. So I don't show up with like a cookie cutter playbook. I sit down with the owners, the GMs, and we kind of figure out what hurts. Like where are the pain points? And then I meet with every team player in that department, and together we build processes, accountability, and the communication that actually lasts. Because without those three things, nothing will change today. And you need to have a plan, a process in place that's going to work today, 90 days from now, and then into the future. And that's what I do. I keep in touch with the dealers. I make sure that I coach and I mentor. And now I obviously have specialties that I do, but we can talk about that in a little bit. So, but thank you so much for having me on. That's kind of the Reader's Digest of who I am and what I'm doing.
Gentlemen, do you have some questions before I start jumping in?
Well, I'm going to say, Drew, welcome. Thank you. It's funny. I was, seeing some guy posting stuff and I'm like, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. So I reached out to you and it was very funny. Like the next week, Larry says that you guys are friendly and partnered up. And I'm like, wow, that's great.
I think you called and we were in the car together. I'm like, yeah, I'm right here.
No, I've been reading your content, watching it. And, I like your playbook. And your playbook is, you're there, you're a consultant to the dealer, and you're offering them, not cookie cutter, is that you'll come in and work with them. And so I've been doing that for a long time, and I've been trying to create all of mine online. So I've been learning through Mike and how to be able to articulate it through LinkedIn. But more importantly I want to talk about, what are you seeing today that is finally getting the dealer and the people to say, we've had enough and we don't want to operate like this anymore? So, if you could talk about, because it's a mindset. The dealer has to really commit, and then they need their soldiers and their team to commit. And I don't know, a couple of these, trainers are saying, everybody has to have a role. They have to be accountable, and they have to be trained on the skills that they need to do. So if you could talk about because that's what we're all looking for. We're looking to help the dealer that wants help. We don't want to come in there and start bombarding them with all kinds of stuff. No, we want to come in and see what they are doing and see how we could collectively help together. So if you could talk about that, I would appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you had brought something up that's severely important is we do love our industry, and it's been a big wake up call. I think social media has really opened up dealers, owners, GM's eyes to what the customer perception really is of the industry. And we have to take some very proactive steps to fix that perception. And it really always starts at the top. And that's why in the beginning I was just talking about, I said, I meet with the GM and the owner, because if I go into a dealership or, wherever I go, what any business, I want to meet with the people that are at the top and make sure that their goals are aligned to want to change, right? To want to effectively change the culture, because I can go into any store and put processes in place, but after I leave, those processes could erode by saying, oh, that guy's just not a good guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about, because I want to do it the way I want to do it. Well, my processes that I'm going to put in place are tried and true, and they've worked. I'm not going to do anything that's going to adversely affect a dealership in a negative way. And so the first part is we have to get away from the stigma. We have to figure out how to build in services at a dealership level that are going to get away from the Tommies from Delivered, the broker business, all these businesses. There shouldn't be a third party or as I always say, the middleman to the middleman, right? We are the middlemen. We are the franchise dealers. And I say we a lot because I'm a dealer at heart. Yes, I am not at a dealership currently. I spent 35 years in dealerships, all the way from independents to many franchise dealers. And the big thing for me, it was always building out culture. It was always about meeting with my team on a daily basis. My people had to walk in my office and give me a fist pump, and then I'd see in their eyes, are they having a bad day? And if they were, I sent them home. Like you just have to build leadership. I was on with Mr. Dawson, Jonathan Dawson, who is an amazing leader in this industry. And he had made some really, really good points, but everybody has to buy in, right? We have to get that buy-in from the top, and then it will trickle down. And for me, there's a lot of different companies that'll come in and sell you a product. This drives me crazy. Here's what's going to fix your problem. And then that third party company keeps charging you monthly, but doesn't really support you, doesn't give you the training, isn't on site, isn't doing the blocking and tackling to make sure that you got the buy-in. And most dealerships don't assign one person to each technology, right? Because you have to have somebody that's accountable for it. Now, listen, could one person be in charge of 4 different technologies to bring to a store? Sure, if they have the mental aptitude. But then again, you have to interview all your employees to figure out who's going to fit perfect to do this role. And what happens is we put these processes we put the tools in place without a process. And that's why it fails. And that's why these third-party vendors are always selling this, I'm selling that, because we're an industry that needs fixing, but we think we can buy our way through it versus train, coach, and mentor our way through it.
Great stuff. Hey, I'm seeing in the industry, and I'm in Clubhouse every single morning at 6:45 in the morning with these guys, and the vendors, partners, whatever you want to call us, but the principals, the 1%. It's like having a 20 group participating, being a fly on the wall.
Yep, yeah, I just was invited. I'm super excited. I just was on my first one the other day.
Awesome. Yeah. The knowledge I've gained is tremendous. I mean, I feel like the 20-year-old vet, but I'm not.
You are because you've been listening to it for 20 years.
Oh, I've been listening to it. But I'm finding that all these shiny objects, they're on the inside of a rooftops funnel. In other words, one AI is going to take care of your CRM, and then another AI is going to answer your phone. And yet there's another AI that'll do all the follow-ups, and another AI, like, do these things communicate with each other? And we got out of that business. We're only doing the outside, but we're looking for that company who has that shiny object to communicate and have that connection with what's already in place for different companies. Do you see the same thing? I mean, I'm the only game that I know of in town that's on the outside, and I've figured it out for rooftops to get more visibility and more market share. But yeah, I'm not seeing it on the inside of the funnels. That's just a widget here and a shiny object there. There's no combined solution to this, and there will be.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, but right now it's widget here and a widget there. Are you seeing the same thing?
But right? There's going to be a solution, but is there going to be a process? Is there going to be a person held accountable that's going to be managing that process, looking at the automation, making sure it's not making mistakes? And then once again, automation's great in certain areas. I talk about it being, the tray under the colander and making sure nothing leaks out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what AI should be for from a sales and service department. But people want to know they're dealing with real people. So if AI engages with that person, I also want a real person to engage right after and say, hey, this is me. Here's a video of me. Here's the person you're going to be looking for, because I still truly believe, and until, I'll probably keep saying this till the day I die, hopefully, knock wood, that's not anytime soon, but people still buy from people. We're in the people selling business. And until we understand that, we can buy all these widgets. It's funny that you say this, right? Last night, if you look behind me, I have to bring the board over. But what I was talking about on my live last night was AI overload. And we were talking about what it can't fix. And if I look at my board, I'm going to bring it over real quick while we're talking, because I am that kind of geek. And I do these TikToks lives because I really want to train people in the industry. And it's not for any other reason, but to get people better and understand where we are in the world of solutions. So we're talking about AI overload. And the one thing that AI can't fix, right? It's your accountability, it's your leadership, it is not human, and your culture. And the one other thing that AI can't ever have, and I put that in the corner over there, you can't see it, but it's the word empathy with a heart around it. Because it can't be empathetic. It can't tell you how nice your shoes are. It can't tell you what a great day they're having. It could, but it's not really going to read that person when they walk in the door, unless there's a robot that's going to come in and do it soon. Maybe that happens. But there are so many issues with AI right now because, like you said, there's a bunch of shiny objects that everybody wants to, a SodaCon, right? Perfect example. SodaCon said it was the year of the human. What was there at SodaCon, if anybody went? Nothing but AI vendors, right? Everybody I talked to, that I didn't go because I was actually with the handsome and talented Larry Feldman, watching him be crazy and do some amazing training.
You cut out. Could you say handsome and talented again?
Yes. So that I was with the amazingly handsome and talented Larry Feldman.
And very shy.
We're recording this.
Yeah.
Yes, we are recording this. So you can just play it back all night long if you like. So, and listen, that's why I talk about that in my lives. That's why I do these things, because I really want to coach owners and GMs and sales managers and even salespeople to understand the limits of AI and how it needs to just be an employee that you are monitoring every time. It's a green pea. It's learning every single day. So you have to look at it as a green pea salesperson, a green pea service writer, a green pea accounting department. You have to check and make sure it's not things. They do make mistakes. I promise you, AI makes mistakes. If anybody tells me AI doesn't make mistakes, well, whatever. Maybe they're smarter than me, but AI makes mistakes.
It hallucinates.
That's the word. That's the word, hallucinates.
Now,
hold on, Garrett. Just 1 second, please.
Yep.
Forget about the mistakes that we all make, whether you're human or a computer. It's the fact that we crave human contact,
yep,
and we're getting less and less of it. And that, I say it all the time, even the nerdiest of nerds gets frustrated when they can't talk to somebody or they keep getting prompts and then disconnected. You want to use technology as a great tool because it is a great tool. But when you try to replace people, Wendy's exactly right, the human side of AI. When you try to replace the human, I don't care how sophisticated AI is. It can't put its arm around you. It can't say, man, that happened to me. I know exactly how you feel. If we use it as a tool, it's amazing. And so many people think it's going to replace people. But I fear more not for the people that are scared of losing their jobs, because anytime there's a change in industries or technology, just different jobs come in. It's not like they disappear completely.
Yep.
I fear for the owners and the people in positions of power that think, we'll get rid of the humans. We'll throw the computers in. And there's even a backlash against the owners because a lot of stores, from what I understand, Walmart is starting to cut down on the electronic scan because they're getting
rid of them completely. They don't want them anymore.
Yeah.
Why? And why do you think that is? Number one, they don't want to get stolen from anymore.
Right.
But number two, we still want the touch. I do. I hate going in a grocery store and not being able to have somebody bag. Like, I'm paying a premium. I walked into your store. I want you to say hi to me. I want you to ask me how my day is. Shit, I know I'm going to ask them how their day is. That's just who I am. I mean, I engage with everybody. But
Drew,
I'm also an extrovert, so that's a different story.
I want to bring you back to what you were just talking about with your training, and that you're trying to educate. And I'm on the same pathway is you. So I've been spending time listening to very smart people like Mike Larkin, David Rozek, and these guys have been able to articulate it and then Don Graff is another one. AI in the auto industry is an awesome tool. It's a new wrench to do all the things that humans can't do as quick as possible. And so now I heard exactly. You still need to have the road to the sale inside the dealership. You still now today, you need to make sure that all the roads are connected electronically, because if the customer's information is in your CRM or in your DMS, you have now federal obligations of verification and who they are. So the process, I did it the other day. I put a post out there and I said, old school and new school. The 10 steps of the sale still has tremendous value inside the dealership. And you need to use all the benefits of those 10 steps that we've trained on for years.
It's more valuable today than it ever has been.
Correct. Because now, if you don't have the data inside these systems correctly, it's invisible. So the days of leaving out a date of birth or a driver's license number, or however the information that the CRM requires. So I've been spending time finding tools that are compliant to get that information inside the dealership's ecosystem. But at the end of the day, you need layers. You need your first layer of your belly to belly customers walking in, road to the sale that we've trained on forever. But then you need to have the technology to support all of this. You can't answer the phone as much as you can. You got phone calls coming in. Let somebody answer the phone and put it into a queue. I made 2 or 3 appointments already today with AI. That was wonderful. It was you're not waiting on somebody for 2 or 3 minutes and they pick up the phone all rushed and frustrated. No, hey, Gary, I got your message. Yeah, next week is great. So where we want to continue to educate is the road to the sale hasn't changed. You still need all these departments, but now we have wonderful support systems that back us up. And that's where I love that, because that's where the AI and Rozek tells it and Don Graff, it's kind of like I can finally articulate it. It's like a warm blanket that you wrap around that keeps everything inside the ecosystem so people can perform the tasks along the way. And
Drew, before I ask you to explain to everybody exactly what it is you do, I might suggest to Gary Silman that when it's 91 degrees out, a warm blanket might not be the best analogy. But Drew, somebody's looking for your skills. Explain to us what they are and exactly what you do. And you know, obviously they can reach you, the numbers dangling beneath the screen, but tell them what you do.
So yeah, absolutely. I definitely have specialties. There's no doubt about it. And there's definitely 4 areas where I think I can move the needle the fastest. I do want to get back to one quick thing, but you know what? No, I'll bring it back later. Anyway, so pillar 1 is social media. You know, I call this the 4 pillars of success. Stop paying outside agencies to make your store look like every other dealership in the market. I help you build real, live, in-house social media departments using what's in between your 4 walls, the people, staffing it by your people, generating organic leads, real engagement, because nobody can tell your story better than you. And when people know your story and you're involved in your local community, I talk about the word social all the time, and your social department needs to be local to your social environment, right? You need to be going to your local restaurants, your local, mom and pop shops and wherever and promote them, and they'll promote you. And that's where you start building, as you were saying, an ecosystem, right? But now you build a social ecosystem. So next thing, pillar 2 would be digital spend. Speaking of a David Rozek, we talked about this the other day on my live about the amount of money that gets spent by dealerships that is wasted spend. There are reports out there that say 80% of digital spend in this industry is absolute waste. So you're spending $15,000, $20,000, $50,000 a month, and you can't tell me which dollar produced a sale. That's a problem. So I audit every vendor. I build real attribution. I tell you exactly, I kind of hit you between the eyes and say, what should work, what is working, and what to renegotiate and what to cut. And then the pillar 3 is the service drive. One of the craziest things to me that, it's sitting in your dealership and we just don't, oh my God, we just don't embrace it like we need to. Dealers are sitting on the biggest deal generating, income generating, acquisition generating machine in their whole building. And they treat it like it's an oil change shop. The service drive should be.
I just posted that there's $2 million running through an average store that sells 70 to 100 cars. So I'm all over. Continue. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. And what happens is we know we have this between service and sales, right? There's always been kind of that line in the sand. But what I do is I create processes that don't do that. I reward everybody. And once again, obviously with the general managers and owners' permission, I explain how it's going to be beneficial. I go in there, I go back and look at just the basic processes, right? I look at their process, their leadership, their accountability, and then I build a culture inside that store to be successful. Now, I can walk through how I do it in a service drive, but really there's just so much opportunity in a service drive. And when you build it out properly and you've clear communication and everybody's being fed, it can become a monster for your store.
Agreed.
And then the last thing, and if anybody has any questions in the meantime, please jump in. Thank you. The last thing is a true concierge experience, right? We have all of these brokers and third parties that are taking our business. We got to stop letting these advocates and brokers sell cars for you. Because guess what? These customers aren't coming back to your service drive. And we talk about how hard it is to keep people coming back to your dealership. Well, there's no loyalty if you didn't create the loyalty, right? If you build a concierge department, if people are paying an advocate $700, $1,000, why wouldn't they pay a dealership $799 and you deliver their cars to their house and you anytime there's a recall, you go and pick it up for them. And I can tell you my wife wouldn't ever go into a dealership, and that's a whole nother story. We can talk about that later. But because they don't care who you are. They're not servicing with you. You've never built value. You've never made them feel welcome. So they'll go down the street and get it serviced cheaper. And that's just the mentality of a numero customer. You're not giving them the opportunity to embrace how warm and make them feel welcome and comfortable. I think really when we don't make our customers feel welcome and that we want their business, we just need to find a level to go above and beyond and take care of them for the entire ownership lifetime. I heard something the other day on a podcast that the value of a lifetime customer is $27,000. Can't remember who said it. If somebody's on here and they remember, but they said that's the lifetime value of that customer. So why aren't we? So are we here? The question isn't like, what are we paying for? It'll absolutely pay for itself. We're already paying the advocates, the brokers. You're paying for all of these things. Build the experience inside your dealership. That's what we fix. So whether it's social, digital spend, service drive, concierge, the formula is always the same. Process, leadership, accountability, and culture. And how to turn your dealership in a place where customers want to come back to, your employees actually want to show up for work, because this is a business. This is a business not just for selling car, but earning customers for a lifetime, earning employees for a lifetime. There's nothing better than retaining your employees. And that's another issue in the industry, right? 67% of employees turn over in the first year every year in a dealership. That's crazy to me in a sales department.
Hey, Drew, let me interrupt just for a second.
I'm done.
I think
great job, Drew.
I think whoever told you or what you said was a mistake. I think it's way higher than $27,000 the lifetime value of a customer. Way higher. Right.
The industry, the OEM forced the new car sale, and then everybody followed, and the dealerships that are still taking that one shot at F&I and not talking to the customer ever again, they're losing. I can't believe that they're losing all of that business. Just a simple walk down the hall and introduce, as Larry says every time, if I earn your business, these nice people are here to help.
Whose fault is that?
Well, it's the owner that allowed it to happen, but the OEM drove the owner into that position. And now you see that the OEM is not concerned about the dealer's used car operation or their fixed operation. And that's where you're seeing the change.
Yet they're lobbying in Congress, right? They're lobbying about wanting to. So I think manufacturers, no offense to them, they speak out both sides of their mouth.
Yeah. And you have to, and that today the dealer needs to take back control over their 20, and it's waiting. So dealers in pockets everywhere. Those people, there's dealers that I love. There's dealers that they're on social media. They're building up their people. They're doing employee spotlights. They're raising money. Though you nailed it. The dealers that give back to the community, that are active in the community via social media and being a hub for anybody to come and they can help, they're going to dominate their markets, because the rest of the dealers, everybody's kind of keeping their head in the sand. But you'll see the early adapters, they're going to dominate, because
that's who wins. In the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see who wins and loses, in my opinion.
Hey, Drew, we try to keep it short so more eyeballs can get on it. Do you have any final thoughts, or Mike or Gary, any final thoughts?
No, I believe it's in the next 1 year.
Yeah, you think it's that fast, huh?
Yes. How fast is AI moving? Every week there's something new.
Yeah, they're already seeing studies where the lead counts are falling off. They're falling. The car guys are talking about it. Car Podcast is talking about it. So this isn't theory. I mean, or guessing. They're seeing that lead source shut right down, because as we're all learning, AI wants real information, wants real data. They're not just, this isn't clicks. They want, if you have yourself in that position, as Mike says, EEAT, well, they're going to come to you because that's what they're looking for. So it is kind of a new gold rush. And for the dealers that do embrace it, they are going to clearly dominate. In the service drive, millions of earned revenue that's right there. And so that's great. I'm glad we had a chance to spend some time together. Thank you, Drew. I look forward to learning more about what you're doing, because you're saying all the things that I want to hear. So good job.
Drew, thank you. Everybody watching, thank you. We appreciate you tuning in. Everybody stay healthy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful day.
Have a great weekend, guys. Love yous.
Go USA. We're playing soccer tonight.
Let's go.
Yeah.